female brood there. Hey guys, Nathan at Duck River Honey. You can see I've got a chaotic situation going on here. This is a big, strong hive, and we're at March 23rd, and it's a Thursday, and I've got queen cells that'll be ready to drop into nukes on Sunday or Monday, so about 4 days or so. I've already gone through this hive. They do not have any queen cells. I tipped all the boxes, but I can tell with the amount of bees and the amount of brood they've got in here, they're going to try to swarm on me before the main nectar flow starts. Our main nectar flow usually starts the last week of April to the first week of May. I think it's going to be a little early this year just because of weather. And if that is true, then we're 3 to 4 weeks away from that. I think they're going to swarm in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I don't want them to, and I need to make a bunch of splits. So what I'm doing is I'm going through. They've got some empty combs in the bottom. I don't want that. I want brood in the bottom and empty combs on top. That'll give the queen a path to move up. Queens like to move up more than out. So reorganizing the nest here I think will buy me a little bit of time. I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to count brood frames. I'm going to leave them with 10 brood frames in the bottom, empty combs on top of that, some food and resources mixed in. But if they've got brood frames in excess of about 10 or 11, I'm going to pull those and use them to make a split with, or multiple splits depending on how many resources they've got. I think I've only got about 8 or 9 brood frames in the bottom, so I'm going to look in their third box and see if they've got any more. There's one. That's a partial. See if we can find them one more. There's a good one. Alright, I'd really consider this hive to be done at this point. They've got pretty much everything they need except for some food. I'll put a super back on them. I'll shake the bees off, make sure the queen's not on here. Put them in a box. We're going to set a shaker box on. Got some brood. Alright, that looks like all of the excess sealed brood I've got. I'm going to leave some room on this one to add some more brood to it. I've really just got 1.5 good frames of brood there, and I want more than that. I'd like to have about 3 per split. All right, so I've got this split set up. I've got brood up here. I need to give them some food frames and feed them when I pull them off. But all I've got to do is take this box off, set it on a bottom board, put a lid on it, and move it, and drop a queen cell, and it'll be ready. Another advantage of doing this style split is if I wait 5-6 days, I know there's no eggs in here or no larvae that will be the right age to make an emergency queen with. So if I remove the possibility of an emergency queen, the bees are almost certainly going to accept the queen cell that I give them. So I get a better percentage. Well, you can tell it's the first flight day in about a week. This is same day, different bee yard. And I've got about an hour left before I'm quitting for the day. It's one of the big advantages of setting these splits up like this. I can do it ahead of time. So I've got good weather today. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. Saturday is supposed to be nice. Sunday is supposed to be nice. And I need to drop cells either Sunday or Monday. So, you know, I've got, I don't know, 80% of my hives worked already today, and got several left to do. But setting these splits up like this allows me to stagger the workload if I need to, because these splits are going to be fine. They'll be populated with bees, and I know that the queen's not going to be in there. The downside to it is it's going to require multiple trips to the bee yard, and it is a lot of work, but I am doing extra. When I'm pushing the brood down to the bottom and making sure I've got open space on top of it, and then pulling off any brood, sealed brood in excess of about 10 frames. I think I am setting these hives up so that I don't have to do much of anything to them before the nectar flow starts, or the main honey flow starts, which is probably going to be the middle to third week of April. So it's a lot of work now, but I think it's going to save me work later, and I'm okay with that. I haven't found any more queen cells, but this hive did have a cup with an egg in it. So I think by pulling, I pulled 8 or 9 frames of brood out of this hive and put into this split. That should keep them from swarming. That's the start of the brood nest there. So we'll just jump over a few frames. See if they got brood over here. Wow. So I've got one partial brood frame in the bottom. The rest of it is empty comb and a little bit of food. That's the reason I'm doing this right now. I did box rotations in February, and the point of that was to move the brood nest down and give the queen empty space on top of the brood nest so that she could expand and grow and the hive wouldn't feel congested. So that worked, but now it needs to be done again. But I'm not going to do box rotations this time of year. I'm going to actually get in, count brood frames, and get these guys ready to split. I don't have cold temperatures coming up, so I'm not worried about spreading the brood nest out or putting honey on the outside to insulate or anything like that. We just don't have the cold temperatures coming. That's why I waited until this week to do this work. I feel like I'm a little bit late on it, but we got down to 19 like Sunday morning, and I didn't want to do really hard brood nest manipulations and then put them into that kind of weather. You can get chill brood on the outside edges. So I've got weather now, I'm not worried about this. All right, so now I've got 10 frames of brood in the bottom. Anything else that they've got? Anything else that they've got pretty much belongs to my split. I'll make sure they've got some empty combs right above the brood nest. So this hive isn't big enough to give me a lot of assets. I actually pulled one brood frame, but I've got all of their brood in the bottom. They've got open space in the second and third box. They've got some open space in the fourth, and I know that they're not too strong. They shouldn't swarm in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So guys, I really do like this method. I think it's more work, requires multiple trips to the bee yard, but you can accomplish a lot in a day. A lot of different things with the hives. I'm getting a split made up that's, you know, kind of time tolerant on when I've got to get it pulled and all this. So this is a really useful tool for splitting and also for swarm prevention on my colonies. I know right exactly where they're going to be at, and I'm pulling a lot of excess strength off of some. Off of this one, I'm just pulling one brood frame. That's all I'm getting from them, but in combination with brood frames from other hives, I'll get my splits made up. Guys, I appreciate you watching. If you've got any questions, just ask in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Next one.